We promise to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sweet tooth. So visit our refreshment center now. Let's go! Show starts in 4 minutes.
Like you crave that corn when it's freshly bobbed. You gotta beat it to the box with the butter on the top. Don't hesitate, mate. Make that scene. Get eyes for the coolest and dig some ice cream. Get with it, man. Start strolling down to the sweets that you're rolling, the best in town. Our candy's real gone, if I'm understood. To all you squares, that means the confection is positively delicious. Cork that stuff. Give me 5. Let me send you into this nutty jive. The cats go cool for the dog that's hot, and the burgers are the biggest. That's a lot. Go, man, go. It ain't very far. Shake it on down to this cool snack bar. Come on, Jill, give us a treat. A friendly pepper-upper with a tasty beat.
Drink Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, 'cause it never lets you down.
Frosty, man, frosty.
Show starts in 3 minutes.
When it comes to candy, I'll bet every young man has a secret wish to own a candy store filled to his heart's desire with smooth, rich chocolates, creamy nougats, and chewy caramels. Well, whatever your favorite is, you'll find the Refreshment Center's a heaven of delectable candy just waiting for you to take your pick. So treat yourself to some delicious candy from the Refreshment Center. There's time between shows. Stop in right now.
Show starts in 2 minutes.
Yum, yum. It's a meal in itself. Our all-meat super dog. Enjoy one now.
Show starts in 1 minute. And now, on with the show.
Mr. Projectionist, stop the show. Here's great news you ought to know. We've just got a shipment of taste-thrilled treats, all tip-top quality and delicious eats. There are hot dogs and popcorn and candy galore. There's soft drinks and coffee and a whole lot more. So direct your steps to our refreshment stand to enjoy the finest snacks in all the land.
I've got a message for all the scumbags, losers, killers, and haters of this world. Evil must be punished.
VONHELTON, 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 VONHELTON hates the grace, the gays, the ways, Illuminates, VONHELTON, 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 VONHELTON hates gangsters and gangs, lizard eggs, and gangbang rapes. Everybody listen really close. Look, it's VONHELTON about to make a toast. Do a video, tell us the status quo, and then it'll post, cause that's how it goes. That's how he rolls on this TV blog show. I know you dig the VONHELTON flow. It's time to move like both of our poles. So baby, let's go. It's the VONHELTON show. VONHELTON, 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 VONHELTON hates the grace, the gays, the ways, Illuminates, VONHELTON, 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 VONHELTON hates gangsters and gangs, lizard eggs, and gangbang rapes. Tick-a-tack-tack, VONHELTON is back. Back from the dead, he rose again, standing in the flesh, what you didn't expect. Please show some respect or get the tape pressed up against your neck, and you'll never forget one word that he said, or you're gonna regret that you didn't sit and ponder. Von said you don't wanna mess with these really big iguanas. VONHELTON, 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 VONHELTON hates the grace, the gays, the ways, Illuminates, VONHELTON, 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 VONHELTON hates gangsters and gangs, lizard eggs, and gangbang rapes. Now it's verse 3, I'ma rip it up wrong. Don't mess with Bone or you're gonna be gone. He's not a bad guy, don't get on his bad side. He'll do Palpatine and make you join the dark side. He'll make you die, he'll bruise you right out. So now one side is a blur half the time. Run battle some demons, we need to get some lives, cause all they do is fight a bunch of dead guys. You just know these guys from miles like flies, and the body odor is vile. Surprise, he dies all the time, that's how we realize he has a great future that'll benefit mankind. VONHELTON, 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 VONHELTON hates the grace, the gays, the ways, Illuminates, VONHELTON, 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 VONHELTON hates gangsters and gangs, lizard eggs, and gangbang rapes.
Folks, oh my goodness. Here we are again. I have a guest, the toilet inspector.
Oh man, just sitting here trying to figure out how homosexuality and bathing suits go together.
Well, I don't want to think too much about that, but here we are. So we're back to the BLOGTV tapes.
Oh goodness.
Here we are. This is December 2nd. So the last one picked up actually the end of November. So now we're into December, and like I was saying earlier, this is the infamous Christmas that we always hear about with the wrapping paper on the floor.
Yeah, what are we, 2 weeks away from the infamous child abduction by the state?
Pretty much roundabouts, the 2nd. So 2 weeks would be what, the 17th, 16th. So
I want to say
weeks.
It was Christmas Eve. It really was Christmas Eve, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was right on Christmas Day, because he was trying to make the excuse that the wrappings on the floor were from I don't know, opening presents and shit. Who the fuck? I don't know. Whatever night it is that Ma Helton and Ma Locke bought all the Christmas presents. The blue Wii.
That's right, the blue Wii.
Ooh-wee, the blue Wii.
And the iPod Touch.
iPod $500 that I didn't spend. It was funny. He actually brought out the receipt. It was like reading it off to people. That was literally just before in the same stream. He was opening the door, helping carry in the bags what Ma Locke bought.
Right.
He pulls the receipt right out of the bag. Look at this, fuckers. It was like someone sent him plastic junk jewelry from Amazon, like dollar store jewelry, and then he showed it on a stream saying,
I remember that.
Mouse.
Yeah.
Look, you haters, look what I buy for my wife.
That'll show you.
But this one, I haven't, like I said, I haven't listened to these a long time. I scanned through them when I first kind of stumbled upon them a few months ago. So I know there's a lot of content. This one, I just listened to the first few seconds, and he comes in hot. He's mad. Like, he's fucking mad right off the hop. So I have a feeling this is a good one. I'm sure that there's lots we got to skip through of, like, radio
Oh,
show
yeah,
bullshit.
always.
But
that was his way of punishing us back then. I'm going to make him listen to 7 songs before I rage.
Yeah, fuck him. But we got so this one's like over 4 hours long. We're not going to sit through the whole thing tonight, but we will get through an hour or so of it. And like that's why we're breaking these up into segments, because there's a lot to get through here, folks. And what's on them, we don't know. I got no idea what we're going to hear. So it'll be a fun adventure.
And there's no telling. And it's funny how he can say a phrase and it can take us right back. Like, oh, I remember what this is about.
Yeah, he'll yell at some screen name we haven't heard in years. So, well, let's fingers crossed. There's nothing too bad on here. I don't think anything that'll get me flagged, but that's how we roll, folks. Oh, I got one thing to play. I played it for you earlier, but I do want to share it. Somebody did get this for me. It'll be soon a soundboard bite, I'm sure, folks.
Give me $50. I will stretch it.
One more time.
Give me $50. I will stretch it.
He will stretch it, folks. $50.
Spit on it first, G-Man. Come on.
Yeah. All right, let's do this.
Hey, Troll, I don't have to answer your fucking question. Because I know, A, that you're one of my trolls, and B, it's a stupid question anyway that I've already answered. You asked me if I believed in fairy tales. I said yes. That's the end of the question. Hello? Are you dense? You asked me if I believed in fairy tales. I said yes. End of question. That's the end of it. I answered it. So, but you're still droning on because you're a troll. Okay? You can't stop talking because there's this troll mentality that's taken over your brain. Okay? Trying to explain the supernatural is like trying to play golf on the moon. When you can play golf on the moon, motherfucker, I'll be able to explain the supernatural to you, okay? You're asking a non sequitur, a non-starter, okay? There's no way in hell that anyone, I don't give a fuck how smart they are, I don't care how many college degrees they have, you're never going to explain the supernatural to anyone. Never. It's something that has to be experienced by you, and by me, and by everybody else. You can't explain the supernatural. That's a load of horseshit. Oh, well, if you just give me proof. I can't give you no proof in the supernatural. It doesn't even exist on this plane of existence. How the fuck am I going to give you proof? You're a moron. You're asking stupid, non sequitur questions that cannot possibly be answered. Okay? And you're doing it deliberately because you want to come in here and you want to troll somebody. You're fucking low. Come in here and you start these stupid-ass questions that you know damn good and well nobody can answer. Now get the fuck out of my room, dumbass.
I thought I had a pathetic life. They got to be losers.
Well, I mean, that's so retarded. Prove to me that the supernatural... Well, I can't prove that the supernatural exists. I can't prove that.
I know that, boys.
Is that Farva?
That is Farva. Absolutely.
Fucking Eric Malone, the fucking security guard with the racist haircut.
I like someone. I do. And somewhere, someone found a picture of him when he was like 17, and he was like Chubby Vaughn. He had like a mullet with like a tiger. You know those little pictures in the 70s that were like cloth.
Right.
He had that like tiger behind him. He has muscle shirt on, but he was fat. Oh, it's so good.
Oh yeah. So if anybody doesn't know who we're talking about, Vaughn used to hang. I think he still talks to him once in a while. It's a security guard buddy. He Vaughn always refers to him as his friend in law enforcement. I think they still play Steam and shit. But he's like the guy that hangs out in Walmart and makes sure the fucking carts don't get stolen and shit. And if you ever seen him, if you've seen Super Troopers, he's Farva.
He is Farva.
And he's got the buzz cut. He's got the high and tight haircut with the fucking little Guido pencil mustache. Fat
he is
dude.
Farva all day.
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. When he's talking about women getting pregnant, they should know better.
That guy's got a lot of funny things he said. I remember he used to be at the Walmart, live streaming himself in his uniform. Because if you just look at it at a glance, it looks like it could be a police officer uniform. But when you really look at it, it's obviously he's a security guard.
Well, excuse me, sir. Are you on your way to a Halloween party or something? Or with?
Right.
All right. Anyways, let's carry on.
Plane of existence. It's not in 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time. It's outside of time and space. You'd have to change your whole physiology in order to be able to prove something like that. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What proof? I mean, every time you throw something up that would prove it, they are the heart and hearty skeptic. Nothing's going to prove it if you slap them upside the head with it.
That's right. If there was a way to prove the supernatural, they still wouldn't buy it. So what the fuck, you know? Why waste time? Why go through all that aggravation? You know, that doesn't make any damn sense. You know. Well, please prove to me that God exists. Well, I can't do that. I can't no more prove that God exists than I can playing golf on the moon. Like I said, you know, when you guys can play golf on the moon, I'll be able to prove to you that God exists. Okay, sound fair to you? Yeah, Jesus Christ,
didn't one of the astronauts play golf on the moon?
That's like saying, you know, I can solve a Rubik's Cube with 1 move. No, you can't. That's completely impossible, you know. But these motherfuckers going to make stupid-ass claims, you know, and stupid questions, and knowing that nobody can answer them. They know we can't answer them. Got my mixed drinks this morning. Got my Boost and my Powerade this morning. So I got my electrolytes back up, and I got my vitamins and minerals and proteins.
Breakfast of champions.
I'm good to go.
Sugar through the roof.
It's funny. I made a reference to that in the last video when I was drinking the Gatorade.
Yeah, you did.
That's when he was on his electrolyte kick.
I remember because Gatorade saved the kids' lives. Remember because
that was his excuse, right? That's why he was on the fucking. Well, the doctor said he needed to raise his electrolytes, so I bought them some Gatorade on the way home, and so he was forever. That was an important thing he had to remind everybody because he saved his kids.
That's right.
From neglecting his kids.
Right.
When they swallowed the Advil bottle.
After he neglected them, he saved them with Gatorade.
Right, and electrolytes. All right.
Well, you got your Reese's Pieces, huh? Or no, that's cups. I'm sorry.
See that, and I bring that up. That used to be a staple of VONHELTON. I don't know what happened to that. Did he get in trouble or something? I think for showing
the Reese's company said, "Look, fucker, stop."
Because he did get his dick slapped over a few things, like the Punisher logo and all that stuff.
Yeah, he did. I do remember that. That was like an absolute staple. I haven't seen him eat a Reese cup in a long time.
Yeah, that used to be Mountain Dew and a Reese's cup.
Oh yeah, what a combo.
Oh fuck, it's gross. I had to do it for a video. I did a parody video.
I remember.
Oh my god, that was the grossest combination of flavors. I was like, what?
Nothing goes better with chocolate and peanut butter than orange flavored stuff with extra sugar.
Well, and some people like the orange and chocolate combo, even though that's not my big thing. I at least understand it to a degree. But Reese's is like the synthetic citrus. It's not even, Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Mountain Dew's not even bragging to be like an orange pop or anything. It's just like some fucking
like
sugar,
a generic, yeah,
just sugar, citrusy fucking. It was really ignorant combination of flavors.
I mean, it's, listen, you got to live the Kentucky swinger lifestyle to truly appreciate the combo.
Well, at that time, I think because Vaughn was smoking so much, probably just didn't even taste it because he wasn't vaping. He was smoking like a carton a day. Remember when he freaked out at Ma? That's when that's when the vapor came along. He freaked at her to go get a carton of smoke. She's like, the hell with this. I'm not paying for this anymore. So she put him on the vape. And then he's like, yeah, I quit smoking.
That's right. He quit smoking, a.k.a. his mother quit buying him cigarettes.
Right.
See, I told you it helps to keep you awake. Why does he eat that candy every night? Because it helps keep me awake, man. It keeps my energy up, you know.
That's
What's happening, Bane? What's going
on? Quality advice there, Vaughn.
But yeah, with a name like One Tasco coming up, you know, I think it's pretty obvious he was a troll, but that's beside the point. Still a stupid-ass question to ask, you know. Hello, Metatron, how you doing? But anyway, this stuff about the Goat Man here in Kentucky, it actually made the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
The Goat Man!
Thinking about doing a fucking video on that shit.
Well, now we know why you recorded it.
Pretty creepy shit.
The Goat Man of Kentucky, folks.
I remember this.
It's probably fucking sightings of Vaughn in town, right? How do you perceive me?
They only chase 15-year-old girls.
that's weirdest thing.
You know, he's got an insatiable sexual appetite. You know, you can't get enough sex. Yeah, the Goat Man. For real. Right here in Kentucky, no less. Right here in the great state of Kentucky. So, proof of Goat Man sex? No, not proof of Goat Man sex, but proof of Goat Man, maybe. Yeah, like Pan, right. The guy that played the flute? Yeah, kind of like him.
Vaughn is a satyr-sexual now.
Now, that would be something to bring home. That would be awesome.
What?
If I could get proof.
It would be awesome to bring home a sex-obsessed goat man. Is that what Vaughn's saying right now?
Mouse, I got news. You're going to get spit roasted.
We got the Goat Man.
Proof that creature.
Kentucky Goat Man.
Insatiable.
Books, man. All right, Chumpo. But yeah, man, that would be awesome. That'd be some cool shit. The problem is that the Goat Man carries an axe, and he ain't afraid to use it. So there is a legitimate danger there. And apparently he's hacked up quite a few people in his day. So that's part of the problem. But I'm sure it's nothing that an M16 or AR-15 can't cure. Is the Goat Man close to my house? No, I don't think so. But it's
closer than you think, possibly, Vaughn. But my question is, like, okay, if it was just a regular dude going around with an axe killing people for years, like, what they would surely take him down. So why would a Goat Man have any special? Well, he's been hacking people up for years. They can't get him. They can't. Why? Because he's a Goat Man. Like, what's the difference between a regular man?
Well, that's why the murders go unsolved, because you know it's a Goat Man axe. It's not a regular axe.
Oh, well, it's the powers in the axe, I guess.
That's right.
Okay. Well.
Somewhere in Kentucky. Actually, there's been sightings in several states. Texas has sighted this creature. Kentucky. Let me see what the other ones was. Hang on. In Maryland. And these are just the latest. I mean, there's been other.
I will say, I'm not terribly far from Vaughn, but as a little kid, there were like ghost stories of the Goat Man of the woods. Like, we did hear that in my area.
Yeah, and I mean, like, everywhere has like urban legends and stories, and the Devil of New Jersey and the fucking Goat Man of the woods and the fucking Mothman and the.
Well, and the thing is, I did hear a bunch of stories about the Goat Man. Never heard about his sexual appetites, not once.
Yeah, well, Vaughn may be exaggerating that a tad. I don't know what his. Knowing now what we should have known then, it all kind of makes sense. But I'll leave it there.
Sightings in the past. These are just the latest sightings. And, obviously there's all kinds of rumors as to how this shit got started. Some people say it was some sort of experiment in a lab. Some people say it was some weirdo that had sex with goats, literally had sex with goats. I don't know. But as Karis alluded to earlier, you have stories of the Minotaur. That's a half man, half bull. You have stories of the centaurs, which were half man, half horse. And then, of course, you have Pan, which was half man and half goat. So even though there is you know, even though it might seem like fiction, it is very possible that there might be a nugget of truth to this stuff somewhere. Like I said, it could have been done in a test tube. Could have been done as some sort of sick, twisted. Well, the monsters of that one island out there,
Dr. Moreau.
Montauk Island. Okay, so allegedly Montauk Island is where they're doing a lot of human and animal experiments. Okay, there's an example right there, the Montauk Island. We just had the Montauk Monster in the news here a few years back. Okay, couldn't explain what the hell the thing was. You know, they're trying to say, oh, it was just the carcass of a pit bull. Yeah, right, sure it was. I know, damn pit bull. But anyway, you know, crazy shit, man. Some crazy shit. Is there any truth to it? I don't know. I haven't encountered anything like that, but if I do, I'll bring it in. I'll put it right on BLOGTV. Would I shoot Goat Man if I saw him? Well, of course I would, silly. He's wielding an axe. He's going to try to kill my ass. Of course I'm going to shoot him. I don't give a damn what it is. If it's
wielding an axe and a big goat pecker aimed right at fucking Vaughn.
Right.
Coming at me with an axe, I'm going to shoot it, okay? You know. Yeah, mad troll come to life. Yeah, there you go. That's about the truth, man. And on a serious note, supposedly this creature's killed a lot of people. You know, a man and woman be out having sex in their car or something, they come along and kill them both. You know, so you know, it's not really a laughing matter if it turns out that this creature really does exist.
Credible that news site is, but according to them, they found Bigfoot DNA, and it's not just animal DNA, it's human DNA hybrid.
Yeah, good luck getting that shit in the mainstream media. Mainstream media ain't going to admit to that shit. No way. Not unless they got a ready-made excuse for it, which they don't, or it'd already be out. Well, yeah, mainstream media ain't going to admit to some of this crazy shit.
Vaughn the Bigfoot.
If they did, they'd have to admit that they've been lying to us all this time, wouldn't they? Yeah. See, so they'll never, you know, it's like Loch Ness Monster. Okay, anybody with a brain can figure out, hey, it's a dinosaur. It got trapped in the ice. You know, it ended up in the fucking loch when the loch sealed up. Whoopty shit. I mean, we found the coelacanth, and the coelacanth predates dinosaurs by what, 100 million years or some stupid shit? You know.
Well, I know this would seem obvious, but there's a drastic difference between something in the fucking free ocean that maybe we thought was extinct, that the species is still around, than like a literal dinosaur being trapped by ice in a loch.
Yeah, like
in
Captain
Scotland.
America. Right.
Like fucking, well, even if he's trying to propose, like, because there's this theory that perhaps there's these underwater tunnels that have made its way into the lochs from the ocean, and those somehow got blocked off. And this thing has continued to breed throughout the years. And they try to point to these other species that we found that we thought were extinct, except for the Phesosaurus, whatever the hell they're called. Like, you're bigger than fucking what the size of an elephant in the water.
Yeah.
So they would have pods of these things, right? Generations of them.
Hard to hide.
And there's just not the food supply for a fucking creature that, like, unless they're suggesting it's the one single creature has been living for fucking 79 or how many ever 100 million years it's been since the dinosaurs. Right?
The thing that I'm interested in is who is they that's suppressing Bigfoot, right? Like, what?
Well, it's they as a blanket. It's just like the media, right? Well, they'd have to admit they were lying about it. Whoa,
lying about Bigfoot.
I don't think they've ever covered it. I don't think it's. Anyways, yeah. Folks, can't stare in the shit abyss too long. You get sucked.
So if we can find the coelacanth, and not only find the coelacanth, but find it in large numbers, and it predates the dinosaurs by 100 million years, then it only makes sense that, yeah, there could be a dinosaur trapped in Loch Ness. Why not? You know. But see, if this ever went to mainstream media and they admitted to it, they'd also have to admit they'd been lying to us for years, wouldn't they? Yeah. What part of Goat Man's body do you aim for? You aim for the head, dude.
Oh, they tried. Good try, troll.
Hi, Emo Helen Wolf. How you doing?
Oh!
But yeah, you got to take that sucker down. man.
Rare appearance.
Dude, I'll tell you,
someone they sent me a message and raised an interesting question. I wonder how Emo is faring in this. He's in Florida.
He is.
They're getting hit the whole coast. We were talking before. Eastern Canada got hit with that. Was it Fiona or whatever the hell the name it was? They just got hit with that. Now this other one, Ian or whatever, is coming in behind it, hitting Florida. And
isn't he up in the Panhandle type area? Isn't that where he's at?
I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not either. If he is though, if he's where I think he is, I don't think he's getting popped.
Well, he is on the Carney circuit though.
That's true.
Now he's just wrapping that up. That we're getting late into the season, but nonetheless.
Yeah, I would imagine the season is pretty much over. Labor Day is typically when that stuff stops.
Usually, but you get some stragglers.
Yeah, well, you have I would imagine, this thing travels, right? So there's probably a few weeks left of work to pack everything up and put it wherever it goes. Like when the season ends, it's not like he goes home. He's probably got another month or so of work to do. He's
still a wild card. If he makes it back in time, folks, you never know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's pretty much sewn up this year.
Yeah, well,
still time. Still time.
Between Bigfoot and Mothman and Chupacabra and some, just throw Goatman right in there with all of them. I don't give a shit. If it's coming to try to hurt me, I'm going to take its ass down. Simple as that. Do I shoot a deer in the head? Not if I'm wanting to taxidermy him, no. Dinosaurs were the size of chickens. Okay, dude, whatever you want to believe,
No, there were types of dinosaurs. But anyways, VONHELTON, no, he doesn't aim for the head because he wants to mount it. I'm not an expert hunter, but I'm pretty sure you don't aim for the head because you actually want to have a good chance of hitting the fucking thing and taking it down, right? Like, of course, it'd be great. And I'm sure it'd be glorious to get a clean brain shot every time, right?
Well, and again, the head moves, the head moves.
Well, that's why you don't aim for it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure hypothetically, it would not be nice if you could guarantee a nice clean shot right between the eyes and kill it instantly, right? But nobody's going to waste the shot because chances of hitting the head are like fucking minimal. Like, how close do you think you get to a deer before you get a shot, right? Like, you're at so many yards away, you're going to try to hit it where you can fucking hit it. Right?
Yeah, front shoulder, right?
Yeah, you put the fucking thing down. But Vaughn, he wouldn't do it. So he could shoot it, but he doesn't want to ruin the face, right? He wants
That's
to
right.
That.
He wants to mount.
When he went to the museum, that was a damn big chicken then.
Well, one of the things that they're trying to say is that birds came out of the reptilian race, and
what?
I'm having some serious doubts about that shit. Because bone tissue in a dinosaur is solid. Bone tissue in a bird is hollow. Okay? So either there was some sort of hanky-panky going on there somewhere, somehow, as in hanky-panky in a test tube, or it's just a whole new creature that came up out of the soup, which is what I tend to believe. My personal opinion is that the birds came out of the soup, dinosaurs came out of the soup, humans came out of the soup, apes came out of the soup. Ain't none of that crossbreeding shit. But that's just my opinion.
Where is this bowl of soup?
Well, this is interesting because people like VONHELTON that don't believe in evolution always describe it as the primordial soup. You believe that humans just walked right out of the soup. When they usually use that, in argument against evolution. And VONHELTON claims he doesn't believe in evolution, but on multiple occasions says he does believe in the primordial soup, the very thing that anti-evolutionists
sounds mystical,
make fun
right?
of evolution. Yeah. But the thing is, they use it usually as a parody. They're making fun of you believe in evolution.
Yeah,
everyone just walked out of a soup. Yeah, he rolled out of the fucking soup, right? That's what. But then he's like, no, I do believe in the soup, and I still find it intriguing because he has a video where he talks about evolution, and he has absolutely no idea what evolution is. Says he denies it, then explains evolution and says he believes that.
That's the best. I want a really professional looking middle-aged man that looks super scholarly. And when they ask him about his theory, he says, I believe in the soup theory.
Right.
That's what I want to see.
Crackers.
I'm a soup theorist.
But what's funny, he added another thing to it. He says that, it's interesting because right there he said there was no crossbreeding going on, which nobody says there's crossbreeding, right? Of course, crossbreeding doesn't work. That's why you don't have things like goat men, because it's genetically impossible.
Yeah, because you can't just bang a goat and have a goat baby, dude. That's not how it works.
So VONHELTON is actually the one that believes in crossbreeding. But that aside, in this video, he actually says it wasn't evolution that claims for the diversity of speciation in primates, all the different monkeys and that. It was actually humans fucking them.
Oh yeah, of course. So that's how we got AIDS. Don't you know anything?
Well, but this is even before AIDS, right? This is how we got all the different monkey types from different kinds of feral humans screwing monkeys. I mean, the guy's obsessed with bestiality. Like, it's just
he really. Well, I mean, listen, this is pre-digital horse badge, dude. We didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
Now it's all making. This is why it's so important to revisit the classics, because you have eyes to see now, and you can see like, oh shit, this explains everything.
If there's any type of crossbreeding at all, my personal opinion is that it was done in a lab somewhere.
Prehistoric lab.
Are the bones hollow and even in birds that can't fly? I would believe so, yes. I would believe so. But I don't know. I'd have to Google it myself. I am not a veterinarian, okay? I cannot, I'd have to look that shit up myself. Don't know, don't care, Nibiru. Don't know, don't care. Bird is a bird, and the bird is a word. But, But yeah, Goatman is getting some attention now.
Finally.
But somebody out here is going to shoot that thing if it is real. You can bet on it. It's going to come up on somebody's home and they're going to shoot the motherfucker. Simple as that. Goatman sightings in Kentucky, Texas, and Maryland. Tuesday, November 27, 2012 at 5:30. 5:30 what? 5:30 a.m.? 5:30 p.m.? Doesn't say. The Goatman is a hominid cryptid most commonly associated with Louisiana, Maryland, and Texas. It is described as a hybrid creature, part man and part goat. Some claim it is a relative of the New Orleans evil chupacabra-like cryptid, the Grunch. The urban legends of them often tells of it killing young lusting couples in parked cars or scouring neighborhoods killing family pets.
Did he say the Grunch?
There are also tales of them breaking into people's houses and usually...
What's that?
Did he say the Grunch? Also known as the Grunch.
Yeah, he said something like that.
This sounds like a World War II fucking STD. Don't go out there and get the Grunch.
It's like, yeah, the fucking bully. He was the bully from Different Strokes. He used to always crush Arnold's fucking lunchbox.
The raping of its victims. And many attest from the areas that he haunts, it does not matter if you're a man or woman, he will overtake you and have sex with you nonetheless, writes Damien Jennings for the Haunted American Tours. The Goatman is bipedal humanoid, resembling the faun or satyr of ancient mythology. He has the lower body of a goat and the upper body of a man with ram's horns growing out of his head. The creature's size varies from one report to the next, ranging from 4 foot tall up to as large as 12 foot tall, with most of the reports being between 6 and 8 feet tall. Most goatmen are...
There seems to be a correlation of height to how much fucking Kentucky bourbon you've been drinking that afternoon. I'd just like to point that out.
Reported to make high-pitched squealing noise when agitated.
Oh.
Goatmen have also been reported in Alabama, Arkansas, California, Florida, Indiana, Louisiana, and Michigan. Damn! The Goatman in Kentucky. According to Aaron Early, author of The Other Side, Goatman is an urban legend of sorts centered around a railroad trestle in eastern Jefferson County, Kentucky, just outside of Louisville. Legend holds that the Goatman, a predictably half-man, half-goat monster, haunts the area around the trestle. Alrighty. Sightings of the monster originated in late 1940s or early 1950s, and most who claim to have seen the Goatman describe it as being the fur-covered body of a man, but the head of a goat. While Bigfoot is currently the best-known wild man, while Bigfoot is currently the best-known wild man, quote unquote, goat men have been reported in various parts of the country, primarily the southeast, Virginia and North Carolina, for instance, for decades. Certainly there are similarities between the Pope-lick goat man and other better-known beasts, such as the Jersey Devil of the New Jersey Pine Barrens. The goat man, as a sketch under the direction from a witness, was seen in Smith Mills, Kentucky in the late 1970s. Okay, so a goat man is not just one creature. Apparently it is a plethora of creatures. Oh, so you heard about the goat man, huh, Nina? But you never actually saw one?
I look at it this way. The legends of werewolves and all that have been way before Bram Stoker ever come out with Dracula and shit. So, there's got to be something to it.
You bet your ass there's something to it.
Gotta be.
Or they wouldn't have been around so long. What that something is, though, is a matter of debate. But, they've been around for a long time. This stuff has been around too long, man. There's bound to be something to it. When we were teens, we would go up there at night, see if we could see the goat man. Weren't you afraid that the goat man would kill you, Nina, or not? I think man, bear, pig is some sort of urban legend shit using on the internet. I don't think there's any real truth to man, bear, pig.
He draws the line at man, bear, pig.
We were young
You can't have
and stupid
three.
and didn't believe
That's right.
100%, plus we would be drinking.
That's a tranimal.
That's how you get in trouble, Nina. That's how you get in trouble. Yes, there is a pig man, and his name is Dark Zodiac. Yeah, okay, I stand corrected. Well, like I said, this is not, apparently this is not just one creature. Apparently this is, a whole bevy of creatures that have continued on, for the last century or so. And so, it's not just one creature. It's not like Nessie, It's Nessie's just one creature. I don't believe that either, but, they say Nessie's just one creature with just a very long lifespan. But this here, apparently, if I'm understanding correctly, these goat men, goat women, whatever, they carry on. There's a bunch of them.
I got to laugh and they say, well, show me a body. They have to die someplace. I said, okay, go into the woods and show me the carcass of a deer. Most of my adult life, and I've never seen a dead deer in the woods. So, it's one of those things that nature takes care of its own.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Show me a carcass of a deer, not shot by a hunter. Show me the carcass of a bear.
Well, I've seen carcasses of animals, though. I've seen.
Yeah, not for nothing. Yeah.
I know they don't last long. Because obviously other animals eat them, but
That's
still,
right.
The bones are left behind.
Listen. We're he's people in the chat over here talking about man, bear, pig. Look, we're not. Don't be ridiculous. We're talking about the goat man.
Yeah, let's stay focused, folks.
Stay focused. Come on.
Listen, 3 animals crossed. That's ridiculous.
It's a tranimal.
That's almost
impossible.
silly. That's scientifically impossible to have 3. Come on. But I will say, though, on a serious note, see, this was when Vaughn was fun, right? This is even when he wasn't raging about the fucking. This is when I got into VONHELTON because he was about aliens and weird kooky shit and fucking.
And goat men running around, and he'll fuck you, man or woman. He'll fill you up.
They're all out there in the woods, all just fucking on flat rocks.
That's right.
Just
fucking on flat rocks.
Just fucking. But that's what I mean. Now he just talks about Trump and fucking the death jab and fucking that's not fun.
Yeah, boring.
Let's get back to the reptilians. Whatever happened to that?
Well, because we pinched his nuts so many times, he's like, "Fuck it, I ain't talking about that stuff no more."
Yeah, I guess. After a decade of getting shown, getting your ass spanked online, it probably has something to do with it.
Show me the carcass of an elk. Show me the carcass of an emu. Show me the carcass of a zebra. Unless you're out there, you're not really gonna find shit like that. What's with all the pixelated? That's me.
But we do find, he admits we find like the leftovers of dinosaurs from the. Anyways,
Yeah, right.
I don't want to dwell on this too long. It's the shit abyss, folks. Again, it'll drag you in.
Cam. For some reason, when I have Skype going and blog going, I got to run it through Manicam, and when I run it through Manicam, I have some video degradation. Can't be helped. Well, you know, it's like dinosaur. I mean, if we didn't have dinosaur bones in a museum, would anybody believe that there were 30-foot tall lizards? I mean, probably not, right?
Yeah, but we do have them, a lot of them.
You know, if we didn't have the bones in the museum to show people, you know, and you come up to somebody and say, hey man, you know, there's these 30-foot lizards that used to walk this earth. People laugh at you. People say, you're full of shit.
Yeah, that's extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, right? If you got the fucking actual skeletons of these creatures getting dug up in the earth and the strata matches the age period where these things would have lived, I'd say, oh, that's pretty good evidence. I think I'll believe that. When you're talking about man goats fucking running around fucking in the woods of Kentucky, it's a hard pill to swallow with absolutely zero evidence. I'm just saying. It's not impossible, but highly unlikely. I mean, and then again, we got VONHELTON. That could be evidence of a goat man running through the hills of Kentucky looking for something desperately to fuck. So,
yeah, it would sound outrageous. Exactly. You know. So, I mean, you know, there you go.
Yes, and it's worth noting, technically, dinosaurs are not lizards, but can't pick too many hairs with VONHELTON. Come on. His chin's only got so many hairs to pick through here, folks.
Hypocritical Christians are. They don't even believe their own damn book when it tells them that dinosaurs roamed the land. When it talks about behemoth, it says that it had a tail the size of a cedar tree. And they say, oh, that's a hippo. Have you ever seen a hippo's tail? It's,
Well, actually, the Bible makes several references to dinosaurs. One is behemoth, another one is Leviathan, and there's a few other passages. But yeah, there's like several passages in the Bible where it talks about dinosaurs. But
you know what those words refer to? Big creatures. A behemoth creature and a Leviathan serpent of the sea. That's really as far as it goes.
Well, I mean, and to be fair, right, like the word dinosaur didn't exist until like, what, 1860 or something like that?
Yeah, well, fair enough. But I mean, they're trying to plead the case that these things lived on land with people. They're recorded in the Bible, right? The fucking, you know, we're talking like fucking not even 10,000 BC, right? The authors of these books, you know, and anyways.
Now, of course, you know, a lot of the Bible, as I've already alluded to, a lot of the Bible was it was sanitized for your protection by the Catholic Church. You know, 3/4 of the book was ripped out and thrown away. You know, what is the Catholic Church trying to hide, folks? You know, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? When somebody takes a book and throws 3/4 of it in.
Actually, I don't think they've redacted any of the Tanakh, the Old Testament. In fact, the Catholic Bible has extra chapters in the book of Daniel where the dude fights a dragon called Bel. They actually added. But
wait a minute, are you telling me Vaughn doesn't know about a fucking subject? Is that what you're telling me?
That's all I'm trying to point out. A man that's been studying religion for 30-some years.
Yeah, 40. You know, this man's name literally used to be Reverend James Paul.
Yeah, well,
come on.
In the garbage and says, "Oh, you don't need to see this." You know, to me, that would just make me want to see it more, right? You know, but that's just me.
Like when I read the Bible, I can see that there is so much left out, that it's been redacted and all that. Nothing makes sense. If you're going to tell me that a deity is going to threaten me with hell, I better get the whole damn story instead of this shit that's like, and Adam and Eve were perfect, and, well, she only gave one argument to the serpent, and it was less than a sentence, and then she sucked on the fruit. A perfect creature did that?
Well, not only that.
She was sucking on that fruit.
Is that there was more than one woman.
These fucking degenerates, I tell you.
At least Lilith. Because she has a name. Now, allegedly, there were other women that didn't even get a name yet. You know. Or if they had a name, it's been obscured over the annals of time. But there was more than one woman. Well, see, if you start talking about the fact that there was more than one woman running around, well, that kind of ruins the whole monogamy crap, doesn't it?
Uh-oh.
You know? Because, I mean, look at David. David was the apple of God's eye, all right? David was the apple of God's eye. And David had how many wives and concubines? Yeah, you know. Monogamy is bullshit. But somebody wanted monogamy to be the forefront. Why? Because if you have a monogamous relationship instead of a polygamous relationship, you can cut down the number of people on the planet, can't you? Yeah. All right. So there's an agenda there. There was an agenda there to push monogamy to lower the overall surplus population of the earth. Well, who wants to do that? The New World Order. The New World Order.
I don't think the math works there, only unless you live in a place where the women greatly outnumber the men.
Yeah, it's
like
doesn't work at all.
Yeah, it doesn't make more people. It just means you have more babies and someone else is having less because you got 5 wives and the other guy doesn't.
Right. He has -4.
Yeah, there's like 4 other dudes without wives now.
This is another thing that tickles me with Vaughn is that he presents himself as like the uber conservative whatever, right? And like, you know, one of the things that an uber conservative should be concerned with is like the protection of the nuclear family. Well, he wants to throw that shit right out and have 17 fucking concubines, right? Like it's hilarious to me.
All of them on the system.
That's right.
Pulling checks to the trailer.
He worked 3 jobs one time. He deserves this money.
He's getting his back. Yeah. All right. Well.
I was having a little discussion with a Christian group, and they would come to a house every Friday, and they kept spewing the Bible and all that. And I says, wait a minute. I says, do you actually read this book? I said, look, let's just go back to Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel. God comes over and says to Cain, you're out of here. Then he says, but they'll kill me. Well, wait a minute. Who's going to kill him? If mommy and daddy are there and they're saying he's going to get ass raped and sent out because he killed somebody, they're going to really go after him to kill him to get the same punishment. So who is he afraid of? That God had to put the mark on his head when he went out. And then all of a sudden he turns a corner from this tree and there's the wife. Oh, come on.
Yeah, he went to the land of Nod and took him a wife. Now, wait a minute. How can he go to the land of Nod and take him a wife if Adam and Eve is the only family that's existing at the time? Well,
You know, an interesting thing in Jewish tradition, I think the Book of Jubilees or something, they explain the fight more, and they say that the animosity actually started is because they took each other's cousins or something as wives, and the one got a prettier wife than the other one, and he was jealous.
Well, again, these guys, Eve over there sucking on that fruit, and then he's talking about Cain's gonna get ass raped. Like, what is it with these guys and like ass rape and
what are they gonna do?
Shit?
They're gonna ass rape me. I always wondered with that story. I was like, well, how would they know? Like, how would they know who he is if there's all these people? But then I got thinking, well, there wouldn't be that many people, so they probably know who he is. It's like probably like 35 people on the planet at this point of the story.
Well, I mean, I just love that, like, well, wait, but God, I'm going to get ass raped.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with these people?
They're just,
aren't. Okay. See, that's the point I'm trying to get at. According to the Gnostic Gospels and some others, non-canonized writings, there were several women before Eve. Not just Lilith. There were several women before Eve. Okay, but see, that doesn't fit well if you're trying to teach people monogamy, does it? you know, if you're trying to teach people to stick with one wife, and there's all these other women running around, well, that don't help you're trying to, when you're trying to get people to be monogamous, that doesn't help very good, does it? No.
I think too the interjection of Lilith comes like way later. Like I even think it's like Common Era, like fucking first few centuries. It's like it's not woven into fucking the ancient Israelites fucking belief system.
I don't know when, where, and all that, but from what I remember, Lilith wasn't she like Adam? She wanted to bang Adam on top or something, and that wasn't good. And isn't incubus and succubus, isn't that something to do with Lilith?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of like, and she's in different like lores and legends of the Fertile Crescent, which is probably why they picked it up. And they just try to make a connection because Revelation talks about Lilith, the whore, right, riding the beast, and
dirty bitch.
But I'm pretty sure, as far as the whole Adam and Eve thing,
but
I think
how
that
much ass
idea?
rape?
Well, there's minimal ass rape.
Well, any fruit sucking
till we get to Sodom.
Hey,
Well,
there's a lot of ass rape.
There's a lot of fruit sucking going on in the garden, I guess. But you know that guy Nephilim Free? I got a recording of him. He has the theory that the is a metaphor for having a sex with the serpent demon.
Oh, nice. Then
I also have.
What is it with these fucking people, dude?
They're weird, man.
What's wrong
Well, I
with
have the same dude. I got a video of him saying that you see these guys, these internet religious nutbag people, really have mental problems. Like, they're not normal people, right? They're not normal quote unquote Christians or whatever, right? Theist people. Like, these people, when they don't think anyone's listening, this is when they let their hair down and say the really crazy shit. And Nephilim Free told people candidly in this fucking hangout that I happened to get a recording of on Google Plus that he was visited by a lady shadow demon that seduced him in his bed at night.
Oh, lucky dog.
Yeah, he was literally fucking a shadow demon. Well, he didn't get that deep into it with Nephilim. I wouldn't rule it out. I don't know, but yeah,
he's a good one too. Is he still around?
Yeah.
God did not use.
He gets about 4 or 5 live viewers because he talks about the exact same thing every night. So.
Right, that can get boring, but we might need to tap into that. Especially that we got Vaughn and Shanny on the run.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
I don't believe that for a second, Metatron. I don't believe there was any incest whatsoever.
That's me.
I don't believe there was any
Metatron. Nice.
I was Metatron.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that. One bit. Not one bit. Like I said, there were plenty of women before Eve.
Well, where did the women come from, Vaughn? That's all I'm saying. Listen, I don't want to make a big thing about this. I'm just saying, if you're going to accept the story as written as a literal story, the people had to come from somewhere. And the good book says Eve is the mother of all the living, right? So, and same with Noah. When he got off, there had to be at least cousins hooking up. I mean, it's a fact. I'm just saying.
There was lots of women before Eve, in fact, according to some people's opinions. But for sure, we know Lilith was around. We got that shit down.
It's documented.
Where did they come from? Well, you could say they were created by God. You could say they came up out of primordial soup. Take your pick. Doesn't matter to me either way. Doesn't matter to me either way. I could care less. But we know for a fact. We know for a fact there was 2 humans on this earth at the same time. Neanderthal and Cro-Magnon. That's documented.
Okay.
When you get a Christian by the ass, point them out when their Bible tells them that God put man in the garden. He wasn't created in the Garden of Eden.
Well, now it does say that God fashioned man from the dust of the earth, blah, blah, blah. But the thing, like I said, the interesting thing about this. Now, here's the fun part about this shit. All right, Carl Sagan is a big-time atheist, big-time scientist, well-respected. Carl Sagan, well-respected man. Okay, back in the 70s, and even Carl Sagan admitted that Cro-Magnon A came out of nowhere, and B had to have had some kind of help of some kind because he went from nothing to having stone tools and various tools of the sort, whereas he had nothing. Okay, well, where did he get all the tools?
From the stones, you jackass! What are you talking about?
And I'd like to point out, I doubt very much that fucking Carl Sagan made an absolute statement that fucking, a species of fucking primate just came out of nowhere and required the help of alien intelligence, because that's where Von Helton is going with it. But even if he did say that, I'd like to point out that as respected and, an intelligent man as he was not a biologist or an anthropologist. It's like asking a plumber to comment on fucking auto repair. Like, he might know a little bit what he's talking about, but I'd rather ask a German mechanic because I'm racist.
That's right.
I'm just saying.
Where did he get all this knowledge from? Well, that's a damn good question. And what was Carl Sagan's answer? Well, he didn't have one. Okay? In fact, Carl Sagan goes on in his book to say that he might have actually had, quote, outside help, unquote. But Carl Sagan didn't go into any details as to who that outside help was. Okay? But Cro-Magnon just appears on the scene out of fucking nowhere with tools, with weapons, with a societal nature that Neanderthal heretofore had not had. And that's on the same strata. Okay, that's on the same strata. So where did Cro-Magnon get all this shit? Well, that's a good question, isn't it? This is my brother Daryl, and this is my other brother Daryl. Yeah, there you go. That's about truth. I don't accept. Well, here, let me be clear about this, okay? I think macroevolution is a load of horse shit. I think microevolution is true. Why? Because we can see it. We can look at a microscope. We can see that shit happening. But macroevolution, I think, is a crock of shit. At least as far as the Darwinian version goes. If evolution is indeed true, okay? If
I would like to point out the only people that make a distinction between micro and macro. In fact, those words don't even exist in that context of biology. The only people that say that are people like VONHELTON, which basically are saying, I believe in evolution, but I don't believe in evolution, because they're both the exact same thing. That's how stupid he is.
Well, and he says if revelation is true, it's like, wait a minute, dude, isn't revelation is yet to come? What? Like, I don't get it.
Why would he care? It's always funny, Von the pagan always resorts back to biblical revelation to help back up.
Well, I know it's true because Revelation said it, and I'm a pagan.
Right. Well, the Bible says
evolution is indeed true. Here's how I think it might have went down. I think it might have had a primordial soup. Out of that primordial soup came each individual creature. Okay? There was none of this cross-pollination crap, okay?
Well, they don't say anything cross-pollinated. See, that's the problem. Vaughn thinks that everything came out as it was, and then we're saying it crossbred and made more things. But that
come on.
The only person to say, I know, we're spending too much time. Listen, just let him talk. I was going to let him talk.
Everybody had some sort of ancestor. Bullshit. I think chimpanzees came out of the soup as chimpanzees. I think gorillas came out of the soup as gorillas. I think man came out of the soup as a man. I think dinosaurs came out of the soup as dinosaurs. I think birds came out of the soup. You get me? Okay? I'm not into this cross-pollination of the animal species. I'm just not. I was an orderly for 14 years, and I'm telling you, if there was any cross-species crap going on, I would have seen it in that 14 years. There isn't any. Okay? There isn't any. Where are all these billions of cross-pollinated creatures hiding? They got to be hiding somewhere. Okay? There should be billions of them out there. As Carl Sagan would say, billions and billions and billions. Billions of them out there. There should be billions of Lucys out there. Where are they? Well, we can't find them, can we? Okay? There's billions of chimpanzees. There's billions of apes. There's billions of humans. But all of them creatures in between, we don't have any of them? Really?
Well, I don't know about billions, but I will point out, last time I looked it up, the list of hominid fossils entered and cataloged are in the thousands just for hominids, let alone the other species, right? I just like to point that out. So.
Well, they didn't. Yeah, they're not soup dwellers.
Well,
they're star children. Come on.
Right, that's a problem.
Give me a break, man.
He was an orderly.
Like I said, microevolution, no sweat. I'm all down for that because we see that shit every day. It happens in nature all the time. Adaptation, mutation, shit like that happens every day. But this macroevolution is bullshit. I did not come up from a
basically what he just described is evolution. So he believes in evolution, but he doesn't believe in species. He's talking about speciation. I know what he's trying to say, but he's just dumb.
Well, and again, I understand like the Vaughn's using the primordial soup. He's saying that a gorilla walked out the soup, but that's way different than proteins, fucking amino acids, right? Like
yeah, well, I would like to see his model to actually prove that statement, right?
Right.
Like, how does it? He just leaves it at the soup. Well, it just makes more sense to him. They all just a duck walked
gorilla
out,
crawled out of it. Yeah,
all of them together. The crocodiles and ducks and dinosaurs and everything walked out at the same time. That's why you'll never find a rabbit or a raccoon in the same strata as a dinosaur, folks.
Monkey, okay? I didn't. Sorry. I did not come from a fucking monkey. You want to believe that shit, that's your right, but I'm telling you right now, as far as I'm concerned, I didn't come from no damn monkey. If I came out of the soup at all, I came out as a human being. All right?
See,
Conscience
he didn't even
creates
come out the soup.
the material world. You know, it's funny. And this.
But again, like I said, that's just the only reason I'm dwelling on it is I don't care about the evolution thing. Is just because Vaughn, how he contradicts himself. So first he builds a straw man and says evolution is, say, people come out of the soup and then crossbred each other and made different species. He just doesn't believe in that part, but which nobody says. But then later claims that the reason we have diversity in primates is because feral humans fucked and crossbred. And we have goat men and pig face men and fucking lizard men. And
But
so
not man bear pig. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, that's too much. This
is going to really blow your mind because it blew my mind. But if you take something solid, let's say I take my watch here. All right, I take this watch. If I put this watch under a very powerful electron microscope, do you think I'm going to see a solid object? Do you? No. All you see is fishnet. That's it. This is not solid. And you say, Pon, that's crazy. Of course it's solid. You can beat it on the desk. You can feel it on your face. It's solid. No. If you put this under a powerful electron microscope, all you will see is a big fishnet. That's it. It's not solid. It's not. Crazy, isn't it? And every object in this world is the same way. Doesn't matter what you put under that microscope. You know, you put this Snickers bar under there, you put that watch under there, my glasses, whatever. It'll always be a fishnet. It's never solid.
He tricked me. I thought he said a gamer word for a second. It's like, oh shit.
Every time we put something under that microscope, it's never solid. What does that tell you about the reality that we live in? Something is missed, isn't it? Yeah. Now, what that something is, well, that's a matter of debate. But you know, it is indeed possible. It is indeed possible that this whole thing is just a fantasy. To quote the song, life is just a fantasy when you live this fantasy life. You know, that song. You know, but that's some wild shit, isn't it? That blew my mind. It did. It blew my mind. I was not expecting something like that. You know, I was expecting to put it under the microscope and see something solid. Well, you don't. Nothing but a fishnet. Everything you put under that microscope was a fishnet. Nothing solid. Nothing. So now, what does that say about our reality? What does that say about our reality? Our reality is bullshit, isn't it? We are literally living in a matrix. Just like the movie said. Bunch of fishnets. Kind of like what? Kind of like a grid, maybe? You know, and everything on that grid. Say, well, Vaughn, why is it solid then? It's solid because you're on the same grid as it is. And therefore, when you touch it, it's going to seem solid. You get it? Because you're in the same grid that it's in. Now, if you was in a different grid than what it was in, you would what? You would go right through it, wouldn't you? Yeah, you'd go right through it.
Well, actually, I think it's to do with electromagnetic forces that bond molecules and atoms together. You know, that's why you can't put your hand through the table. But Vaughn thinks if you're on the grid, you'll be able to pass right through it.
I don't know about being reincarnated to the past. If time travel is possible at all, the only way you could go is backwards. You couldn't go forwards because future hasn't been written yet. How can you go into something that hasn't even been written yet? Well, you can't. Okay, so if time travel is at all.
Again, I'm not an astrophysicist or anything, but doesn't science teach us the exact opposite?
That's what I was going to say. I thought you could only go forward. That's what. Hey, what do I know?
Go back. They don't know that you can go back because and all you're doing is kind of like, you know, when you start approaching the speed of light, right? Time starts getting fucky.
That's right.
But when it's 5 seconds to you is 20 years to everybody else.
That's right.
You've just traveled 20 years. Yeah, that's not backwards, Vaughn.
Possible. Backwards is all you can go. And the sad part is that once you do go back, you're stuck. And there's no way to get back forward again. All right, so, if it's at all possible, it's a one-way trip. And so you'd have to think really long and hard before you made a decision like that, wouldn't you? Yeah. How do stargates work? Well, that's exactly how they work. They take you back to the past. Or, theoretically, they could take you outside of our dimension into another dimension. Now, if you go from our dimension...
Okay, obviously this is getting very science fiction. Because again, as I understand Einstein's... And I'm a layman, but as I understand it, I don't want to get derailed with this whole wormhole thing. But again, you can't go in the past with them.
Right. Listen, I'm an idiot too, but that's how I understood it. And, listen, if we're going to talk about the function of lightsabers, we have to first talk about the crystals. Okay, you have to understand them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fucking true. Guy.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he's going to let us all know, folks. He's figured it out from his trailer in Kentucky, how this is going to work.
Mike can't feed 3 kids, but knows the intricacies of how the universe operates at like a molecular level.
So my question, see, this gets even more confusing if he believes it goes backwards, but assuming that the model says it goes forward, right? I always hear these people talk about advanced technology and like the aliens could have stargates. But here's the problem, right? Let's say you have a gate, with an entrance and exit on each side, right? That you can circumvent, let's say 10 million light years, right? You can circumvent that. Now, first of all, when you pop out on the other side, 10 million quote unquote light years have passed everybody else, whatever that works out to the
right.
You're going to,
Earth
right?
years, right?
So even though it's for you, that time has been quick, to everybody else, it still moves the same. Secondly, you would manually have to travel that distance to build the other end of the Stargate.
That's right. That's right.
That's the point everybody always forgets, right? So, anyways.
Well, listen, you can only go back forward, okay?
Now, here's the thing. Here's where it gets more common, because if they only go backwards, that means people would have to build the other side of the gate in the past, anticipating future technology that would actually build Stargates.
Listen, you just got to flip the Stargate around, dude. No
I just don't understand it. You'd have to premeditate the technology and use it before it's even invented.
Yeah, you just got to turn it, just flip the Stargate around, you see?
Yeah, it's too much for me.
Another dimension, well, then... the floodgates are open at that point. It's hard to know where you're going or what you're doing at that point. Trader up, like I said, there is no future yet. It hasn't been written yet. The future has not been written yet because we're not there yet. How can you go to something when you're not there yet? Okay? Are you getting this?
Yeah,
are you understanding this? You gotta have there has to be a place to go to before you can go there, okay? And
so someone pointed out, yes, light years it's a designation of distance, not time per se. But I'm just saying I didn't know the calculation off the top of my head what 10 million light years would be in actual
right.
time to travel. But anyways,
if the future has not been written yet, we can't go there. Now, if you go to another dimension or another universe or another multiverse where the future has already been, then you can go there. But you're not going to go there on our plane because on our plane of existence, the future ain't there yet. Do you understand me? Okay, let me try to sift this out a little bit. All right, tomorrow is December 3rd, right? All right, December 3rd ain't got here yet. Okay, it's not got here yet. But if you want to go to December the 3rd, what you would have to do is you would have to go outside of our existence, our dimension.
Well,
you'd have to go into another dimension that is already.
I think there's a moment of clarity here because that's actually what they were proposed. Not a dimension, but kind of dimension of time, space, right? But that's kind of the whole point of wormholes, that you're circumventing, you're bending time space, or you're circumventing it to get to the future faster. You're bypassing time.
I don't know, man.
Now Vaughn is like arguing that's not what they are.
I've been lost since there was a goat man with an axe.
Yeah, I
Fuck
guess.
Me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Already been to December the 3rd in order to get there. Well, what are the odds of that? Well, I don't know, but I'm sure they're astronomical. Okay? You can't go to a place unless that place exists. Okay? And from our perspective, Monday, the 3rd of December, has not got here yet. So we can't go there. You understand? Okay? The only way you can go is backwards. If you can go at all. The only way you can go is backwards. All right, look, fine. Michio Kaku says you're right. That's wonderful. But what's Michio? Like I said, the only way you could go into the future is if you hit an alternate universe or an alternate timeline or whatever that has already been there. You can't go to some place unless it's already been there.
I don't even understand what he's saying.
Wait.
Think about it.
But Vaughn said you couldn't go back to the future if you traveled back in time. But if you wait till December 3rd, then travel to December 2nd, in theory, by his logic, you should be able to travel back to December 3rd because you've already been there. See what I'm saying?
No.
Anyways, well, I'm smoking weed while I'm doing this, so it's kind of making more sense.
Okay?
I actually have to go to the bathroom. If something good happens, let me know. I'll be back.
All right, go ahead.
In your car and you're wanting to go to bumfuck Egypt. Well, if bumfuck Egypt ain't been built yet, how you going to go there? Well, you can't. You can't go to bumfuck Egypt if it doesn't exist. It's got to exist, damn it. Okay? What part of this are you not understanding?
Go to the future. That means we have no free will.
If I want to go to Texas, well, now that's not necessarily the case. That's not necessarily the case. We have free will. The problem with that is, though, is that usually our free will gets us into trouble. That's the problem. But you have a timeline. All right, you got a timeline. All right, that's your predestination. All right, your timeline here is your predestination. But using free will, you can jump off of that timeline, and go off into your own direction. Usually to your detriment, unfortunately. But you can use your free will. It's both at the same time. It's predestination and free will. It's both at the same time. Free will actually exists. Yeah, free will exists. Stub your toe and see what happens. I guarantee you free will exists. You stub your toe, you'll find out real quick how free will exists. If I read the book Hyperspace, I will get it. Well, I don't have the book with me. I do. Okay, fine. Parallel universe. Okay, great. I get it. The problem is, though, is that in that parallel universe, Monday, the 3rd of December, has to have already happened, because if it didn't, you ain't getting there, Slick. You cannot go to something unless it exists. Okay? What part of this are you not grasping? You cannot go to December the 3rd if December the 3rd hadn't come yet. Why are you not understanding this? Am I not saying it correctly? What? No, it does not exist. How would you know? How would you know anything exists in a parallel universe? My thinking of a parallel universe is that it'd be just like ours, except maybe a mirror opposite. But that's not going to alter the date. It's still going to be the Sunday, the 2nd of December. It's not going to be the 3rd of December or the 4th of December or the 5th of December. Parallel universes are going to be just like our universe, only a mirror opposite. Okay?
Alternate universe.
Say what, Caris?
He's thinking of an alternate universe instead of a parallel.
Right, he's probably thinking of an alternate universe, not a parallel universe. Parallel universe is just like ours, only it's mirror opposite. Einstein's balloon theory.
It'd be so nice to live in a parallel universe right now because they got it right and didn't vote for another 4 freaking years.
Yes, somewhere there is a universe where Obama is in jail. I want to find that universe so bad. I want to find it so bad. Metatron, I work with energy, okay? That's one of the things I do as a pagan, is I fart around with energy. So I know all about bending energy, okay? I know all about that shit. Because I
Folks, he works with energy.
Look here.
Right?
Look here. I work with energy.
Listen.
I bend it all the time.
Fucking guy. I know a thing or two about groundhogs.
you've heard of the kid called the airbender, right? Okay, well, instead of messing with air, I mess with energy. That's what I bend. That's what I mess with. Okay.
Isn't that a cartoon?
You
What the
got
fuck
this
are we
one guy
doing?
that messes with air. You got another guy that messes with water. I mess with energy. That's what I mess with.
Listen, you got these historical
Yeah, how would you
figures
find that specific universe anyway?
What's that?
You got all these historical figures. This guy bends water. This guy bends air. It's like, wait a minute, isn't that like a children's cartoon? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it is. But, you know, they got to get us from somewhere, right?
Jeez.
I mean, really, you wouldn't. You'd have to search each one in order to find it, right? Yeah. You know.
Assume they'd have to be on a different vibrating frequency or something.
That would be kind of neat to be able to come up with technology that would actually scan a particular string theory multiverse to find the exact universe that you wanted to be in at that time. But see, once you start delving into that, my brain starts to hurt, you know, so I gotta stop that shit. Man, I really did. I tried to hang with that shit, man. I got about halfway through that damn video on string theory, man, and my head's just like, oh, you know. But I got.
You know, I find it hard to believe that a man that can't multiply, 25 by 3 fucking would have problems with things like string theory and multiverse.
Oh yeah,
theory.
Isn't that just exclusively math? Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Fuck
right?
out of here, Vaughn.
A lot of it. I got. A lot of it sucked in up here, but man, half of it is just. It really messes with your head.
So they said time travel was possible, and they started going into string theory. I glazed over about 5 minutes into that.
Yeah, I got halfway through the string theory video, and after about that was it for me. I couldn't go any further. It's what the hell? Yeah.
My bet is it was much shorter than 5 minutes and half the video. I think it was that glazed over look was like once the title rolled, folks, I think they were lost. But anyways,
goodness.
Now that they're going to crank up the volume on that CERN. What the hell is it? They're over there in Ireland.
Yeah, it's a part. CERN is a particle accelerator.
What?
Just the thought of having a particle.
I thought it was a hadron collider. What do I know?
Is enough to scare the shit out of me. But then the fact that they're wanting to speed the motherfucker up makes it even worse.
Watch that last episode of the event where they had that planet pop in. That was just too weird.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, man. It's crazy. But I just, I don't have a problem with these theories because that's all they are, is theories. They're not facts. You know, I mean, how would you prove that the multiverse?
See, that's the thing, Yvonne, and that annoys me too. He keeps using the colloquial kind of use of theory, like, I have a theory why the roof is leaking. I have an educated guess, but in science, theory, something we call a theory, are actually comprised of facts. When you put a bunch of facts together, you make a theory as to why these things are the way
Wait a second. Are you telling me a guy who believes that Goat Man with an axe running around fucking everybody doesn't understand the large hadron collider in Switzerland?
Well, listen, the Goat Man's just a theory.
It's just a theory,
not a fact.
folks. Come on.
It's not a fact.
Exists without actually have been there. But you can't. The only way to really prove is to be there. And nobody's ever been in the multiverse and come back to tell the tale. So there you go.
It's just like proving God. The only way you're going to prove it is if God shows.
Wait. Am I unaware of something that someone entered the multiverse and didn't come back?
Commander Shepard. Everybody knows.
That's pretty much what Vaughn just said. He just said, anyways.
And it's just like the parallel universe. Something of that universe shows up in ours.
Well, if something like that shows up in ours, we might have a big problem on our hands. Speaking of which, did you hear that the Chinese are building a big fucking portal? And I mean, it's huge, man. It's massive. Big ass fucking portal, man. It's massive. What the hell? It's kind of creepy. Let me see if I can get a link. Hang on. Check that shit out, folks. Check that link.
Now, remember, this is 2012. Von Helton doesn't talk about this shit anymore. But these are pretty astronomical things, right? You'd think these would be like such amazing facts. They would change. Man, kind of like China's got a portal.
Define portal for me. What is a Chinese portal?
I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure, but.
Link out. It looks to me like they're building a fucking Stargate. And they really ought not be doing that shit. Because I don't know what's on the other side. What if what's on the other side hates the earth, hates humanity, whatever, thinks we taste good with ketchup? I mean, I don't think it's a good idea fucking around with shit like that, man. We got no business messing with shit we don't understand. There are some things you just do not fuck around with.
If Vaughn held true to that, he would never open his mouth.
I'm telling you, man. We have a colloquialism for this, and the colloquialism goes something like this: if you play with fire, you're going to get burned. Well, Nibiru, if you want to believe that that's just some random building that China decided to build, you go right on ahead. Because I'm not buying that for 1 second.
So wait.
Well,
So just so we're clear, all he provided was a building in China?
Yeah, right.
And the Stargate is inside it?
That's right.
Okay, well.
And it's not just a portal, it's a Chinese portal.
Shape of the building would be a good clue. Does that look like any building you've ever seen? I mean, come on. Good night, trader. Well, like I said, man, you want to believe it's just a random building, that's on you, man. But I'm not buying that shit for 1 second. We're not talking about a bunch of liberals here. Okay, we're talking about the Chinese Communist government. How is Mouse doing? She's in there asleep.
First, I've never seen a building that's round. Second, that use hexagon panels to be created with.
Well, the thing of it is, what I was going to say, the Chinese government would not have approved something like that anyway. The Chinese government being the way they are, any Chinese government for that matter, old Soviet Union, China.
Yeah, they ain't spiritual.
Cuba, whoever it is, they don't allow for uniqueness, okay? The communism does not allow for uniqueness, okay? In fact, just the opposite. They want everything stamped out of a cookie cutter, okay? If you've got a house, there's going to be thousands of houses that look just like it. That's the communist mindset. That's the way communism works, okay? So this guy building this unique structure out in the middle of the city, no, I'm not buying it, man.
Okay, so this all hinges on Von Helton's interpretation of communist China would not let a building be individual. This building is unique and individual, therefore it must be a Stargate. I mean, come on, guys. Keep up.
Get with it. And it's not just a Stargate, it's a Chinese Stargate. And look,
Stargate.
I ain't never seen a building with hexagonal shapes. Come on.
Yeah, well, then the case closed.
It's definitely a Stargate.
That's probably what it is, but like I said, you're free to believe what you want. But I don't believe anything's by coincidence, and I don't believe the Chinese are up to making weird shit out of for no apparent reason. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Pongo Plat. Are you one of my trolls and haters? Because you're sounding like it. All right. Well, let me tell you, Pongo Platt. When I'm running.
Oh, thanks, Todd. Sorry, yeah. For some reason, the StreamYard, it doesn't pick up the donation, but I'll add it. Thanks a lot.
Through Manicam, and I'm doing a simulcast between Stickam and Blog. I have video degradation. Okay, there's no getting around that because the signal's trying to go to two sources.
It's the carrier signal.
So I'm losing some video quality. Did I used to know Jace TVO used to be a heroin addict? I had heard that he did hard drugs. I'm actually more pleased with him bringing a Muslim terrorist live on camera, and him and the Muslim terrorist actually having a conversation live on camera, which I downloaded and saved, by the way.
Muslim terrorist
will be thrilled to death to get
AKA a dude he knew that lived in Iran.
Yeah,
right.
I think he'll be thrilled. Don't be making fun of that shit, Nibiru. Terrorism is a real threat. Okay, we're making fun of that. I'm not laughing. That's not funny. The fact that he's hanging around with a Muslim terrorist is a bad thing. That's a bad thing, not a good thing. Yes, I would like to have that vid, please. Thank you. I think the one where he's got a terrorist live on screen is a lot more damning.
Yeah, Vaughn's sleepy voice is making me sleepy.
Well, some of it is CIA sponsored or state sponsored. Some. However, I would point out to you that the Quran is quite clear. You are to go to foreign countries. You are to lie in wait in those countries until you have sufficient numbers. Then, according to the Quran, you are to rise up and take that country for Allah. All right, that's written in the Quran. I didn't make that shit up. I didn't embellish it in any way. That's what the Quran tells any loyal Muslim to do. Okay, the Quran breaks the earth into two pieces. You have Dar al-Islam and you have Dar al-Harab. All right, Dar al-Islam is the land of peace. Dar al-Harab is the land of war. Okay, guess what part of the world you live in? Okay, so, because I get this all the time. Well, VONHELTON, 1 billion of these Muslims are not doing a damn thing. They're just hanging out. Well, of course they are. They're in Muslim countries. They're in the land of peace. Okay, so of course they're not doing anything. Because the Quran breaks the earth into two pieces. Muslim countries and non-Muslim countries. So if you're in a non-Muslim country, you are in the, quote, land of war, unquote. Which means if Muslims are in your country, and your country is not Muslim, they have the right to lie to you. They have the right to behead you. They have the right to rape your wife and your daughters. When I say the word right, I mean literally they have that right according to their God.
Well, I'll tell you that where I live, they definitely don't have the right to do any of that stuff. I mean, this idea if they move to a Western countries, they still retain the right to behead people and fucking rape your children and shit.
Yeah, I haven't seen any gay people thrown off any roofs where I live.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure, the whatever, Constitution and or Bill of Rights your country has, overrides their Sharia law if they even choose. I find in my experience, most people move from those countries because they don't want to live under a regime like that. That's just been my experience. So, but anyways.
Well, I think it's interesting too that this was like meat and potatoes for Vaughn back in the day. Mm-hmm. He does not touch this stuff anymore because of old J-Dubs.
Well, yeah, it's a sensitive topic.
Well, he's a big patriot fighting the evils of the New World Order, of which the Muslims are one arm of that. Mm-hmm. But as soon as he gets a buddy that gives him $50 a month, oh man, Muslims are all right.
Yeah, look at her paint. I want to point out the only thing criminal in that whole fucking clip was the fact that she was painting in a frame. Like, don't you paint the canvas first and then frame it?
Go back to Syria with that shit.
Oh, God.
Okay, because, see, as far as they're concerned, you're none but dogs anyway, right? Muhammad said right out of his own mouth, I have been made victorious with terror. All right? Well, if he was made victorious with terror, what does that make him? A terrorist, right? Okay, so now what does that make his followers? Terrorists. Okay, there's no way around this. There's no way around this. He admits, Muhammad admits to being a terrorist. And Allah told him to be a terrorist. I have scripture for that as well, although I can't remember it right offhand. Well, I don't know if he's working with a hackerizer, but when he brought the Muslim terrorist live on his camera, and him and the terrorists are sitting there talking back and forth, it's like, holy shit, this guy's got a pair of balls the size of the fucking universe. You know, I'd take some serious balls to bring a fucking Muslim terrorist on the camera and sit there and talk to him. You know, but I have that little bit of video, and I will be giving it to Interpol. And then he'll be Interpol's problem, right? Oh, what a load of crap. All the religions are the same. All the religions are just as violent. You're on drugs, okay? You really are. You're on drugs. If you actually believe that shit, you're on drugs. Let me explain to you, okay? Christianity went through what is called a Reformation. Judaism went through what is called a Reformation. Now, what are these reformations? Reformation is where basically the religion is brought up to the 21st century. Okay, we don't murder people anymore. We don't stone children anymore, et cetera, okay? You get it? They went through a reformation. They were brought up to 21st century standards. Islam has not been brought up to 24th century standards. It has not went through a reformation. It is still the same 7th century backwoods crap that it's always been. Okay? And the Muslims are quite proud of that, by the way. The Muslims are proud of the fact that it hasn't went through a reformation. They don't want it to go through a reformation. They don't want it to be brought up to 21st century standards. All right, dude. Yes, that is correct. Islam is 100% incompatible with the rest of humanity. Now, why is that? The reason why that is because they live in a 7th century ideology and everybody else is in the 21st century. And it's like two rams butting heads, okay? It's not going to work, okay? One ideology must win out over the other. All right, that's just the way it is. Why do Muslims smell funny? I don't know. I don't know. It's probably diet. 99% of the time, if you have an odor of some kind, it's usually related to diet. Did you know, folks, that if you eat excessive amounts of meat, you can actually produce an odor? Did you know that? It's true.
Remember
it's
this?
Absolutely true.
I do.
If you eat a lot of meat, you can produce an odor. What happened was, okay, when we were fighting the Vietnamese War, the Vietnamese could actually smell us coming because we were meat eaters and they were vegetarians.
Oh, fuck. They put their nose up, caught the fucking downwind. Oh, they're coming. Here come the meat eaters.
Here come the meat eaters.
I think I read somewhere that they used to call the white man when they were fighting them the dang pak toit, which actually translates to he who eats the meat.
That's right. That's right. Sucking on fruit suckers.
So, yeah, Vaughn, that's not where you get your odor from, Vaughn. That's from not bathing.
Your aversion to water and soap.
Oh my God. And by the way, it is worth pointing out that Muslim isn't like a race or nationality of people. So you could be a westernized Muslim. Diet does affect maybe some odors and maybe some people that like come from another country eat a lot of certain spices or whatnot. But that doesn't have anything to do with their religious belief. They could be a Christian, a Muslim, a Hindu.
And what if you just really like quote unquote Muslim food?
Yeah, I don't know what Muslim food is though.
I know, right?
I mean, not pork. I mean, I can say that. I can say what it's not.
Muslim flavored bacon?
Oh, I don't know how that works.
They can literally smell us coming because we ate so much meat. We put off an odor that was different from theirs, and therefore they were able to detect us. Polite Muslims, yes, for now, until their numbers rise to 25% or higher. Now, if the number of Muslims rise to 25% or higher, then what you would experience is what France experienced with the burning cars and the looting and the rioting and the rapes and all that shit. If you exceed 50%, like Sweden and Norway, they pretty much run the streets, and there's not much you can do about it. And then, of course, now Sweden is gone. Sweden is now about that close to being an Islamic caliphate. Norway right behind it. And that's a shame, too. The Swedish bikini team, man, I'm going to miss the Swedish bikini team every year. That's going to suck. But, oh well. They and the sad part about it is, like I said in my video, the sad part about it is that the Swedish government is that one that actually at fault. Now, why are they at fault? They're at fault because of tolerance. Okay, they tolerated an ideology of hate that wants to destroy them. Well, you don't tolerate something like that. Okay, you're not supposed to tolerate something like that. Would you tolerate somebody coming into your house and putting a loaded gun to your head? No. Okay, Islam's the same damn thing. Islam is the same damn thing. You wouldn't tolerate somebody coming into your house and putting a loaded gun to your head. Why in the fuck would you tolerate an ideology that hates you and wants to destroy you? Or at least destroy your culture? Why? It doesn't make any damn sense. Swedish women ain't hot no more. They're all gone now, and the ones that are left will be under a burqa. If it goes Islamic, which it very well could. Like I said, that Pat Caudell video makes it abundantly clear. They could go Islamic tomorrow. Yes, the Chinese do not fuck around. When the Muslims tried...
Sweden's gone, folks. Remember, this is 2012.
That's
Sweden's
right.
gone.
It's
gone,
gone
Islamic. Yeah, all the people that just wear burqas.
Iceland's gone.
Yeah, they've swallowed the fucking Netherlands.
Well, not to put a damper on the party here, Rolo, but I got to get going here pretty soon.
All right, dude. I'm going to play a little bit more of this and call her a night anyways.
Yeah. Do it.
All right. Well, thanks for joining. Let's watch a little bit more of this, folks. I'm going to grab a drink, too. I'm just going to let him ramble for a minute or two.
Do the same shit they did in France and Spain. The Chinese went and killed them all, except for like 3 or 4 of them. And those 3 or 4 they deported. But they killed all the rest of them. You don't fuck around with the Chinese government, okay? They will not play. They will fuck you over. All right, they will mess you up. Unfortunately, Europe seems to be the exact opposite. They seem to be bending over and kissing the ass of every Muslim that comes along, including Muslim terrorists. Death to Europe, death to the UK. Oh, Mr. Muslim, do you want something else? What? These motherfuckers are sitting here carrying around signs saying death to the UK, and motherfuckers are kissing their ass. What the hell?
Florida voted down the religious freedom clause that would allow Sharia law to walk in.
Boy, I'm glad they did. I'm glad they did. But I would not have voted down the religious freedom clause. What I would have done instead is I would have properly identified Islam for what it is. It's a cult. And as a cult, it does not have the rights that a religion has. Religions have rights. But see, Islam is not a religion. Religions don't keep their people by death, okay? I can stop being a pagan tomorrow. Ain't nobody going to come and kill my ass. But if you leave Islam, you're to be put to death immediately. Well, that's not a religion then. That's a cult. Okay, and they need to properly identify and quantify what Islam is. It is a cult. It is a ideology of fear, of hate, of death. And it needs to be properly identified so that it does not receive the same rights and benefits that all these other peaceful religions are allowed to have.
Why I'm glad they did it, because it was the way it was worded basically said that it's the freedom of religion combines the clause that your religious laws are accompanied with that. And it just opened the door that if Satanism wanted to do human sacrifices, that could happen. Islam could do what they wanted to do. And it was just like, really? I'm not that damn sleep yet. Come on.
Yeah. Like I said, quit throwing Christianity up, okay? If you keep throwing Christianity up, you're failed. Like I said, Judaism, Christianity, paganism, all the other religions, they all went through a Reformation period. Even Satanism, for fuck's sake, went through a Reformation period. The only religion, quote unquote, that has not went through Reformation is Islam. It's the only one that ain't. Everybody else has.
Mic check.
Yep, it works. Go ahead.
No, I was just checking. I didn't have anything to add. Oh, wait a minute. I do have a question, actually. I want to get your take on this. China and the United States already in a Cold War state of being, as far as instead of military might, they're using finances with, us being dependent on them and them being dependent on us and this and that. You think it's already a Cold War type thing that's underway?
I think it could be. I think it could be. Apparently a lot of stuff that's coming from China is we're now finding out has lead in it and chemicals in it and, debilitating microorganisms in it. So, what's going on there? If somebody sent me a bunch of kitty toys that had lead in them or had some kind of nasty isotopes on them, I think I'd get a little pissed off about that, But that's just me. I'm not a puppet of Rockefeller. I'm a real human being. So, forgive me for being emotional when it comes to children.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely with you there. No question about that. The powers that be need to be the powers that used to be.
They definitely do. Then why do we keep voting rich folk in there? Why? If our votes actually do work, which there's a lot of controversy that says they don't, but let's go with the idea that our voting actually does work. Why in the fuck do we keep putting these rich assholes back into office again? They don't represent us. By now it should be obvious to anybody that they don't represent us. So why the fuck do we keep putting them back in there again? And how in the hell did we let it get to be based on money in the first damn place? It's not even supposed to be based on money. It's supposed to be based on your desire to help humanity.
Yeah, well, like you said at the beginning, I'm personally a big proponent of our votes don't count. They just they show you whatever numbers they want to show you at the end. You get to vote, and they might say, well, we were having a little bit of a tough decision, put which one to put in there. The people like this, we'll go with that one. Maybe a little bit of influence, but no real authority.
Yeah, I tend to agree, sadly, because like I said, and there was actually a video evidence of this, where CBS posted the fucking election results 2 weeks before the damn election. It's like, if that doesn't prove the whole damn thing's a sham, what does?
The thing that gets me is that the fact that 43 of the 44 presidents are all related.
Yeah, isn't that creepy as hell? That is some creepy shit, man.
To what degree of separation?
There ain't no separation. They're literally all related to one another by blood. Literally. It's crazy. And the irony is that it was a 15-year-old girl that figured it all out. That's the irony of the whole damn thing.
Well, everybody's related, if you break it down far enough, but the thing is, to what level, this one was somebody's 27th third cousin, twice removed from a step-uncle-in-law, is that, how related are they?
Well, most of them are first cousins to one another. And I think Cheney and Bush are 11 cousins to Obama. So, you know, as far as I know, 11th cousin is the absolute most. Most of them are like first cousin, second cousin, third cousin. So they're very.
So Von Helton both simultaneously claims that Obama is not American. He comes from some far off Middle Eastern country. But Dick Cheney and Bush are both 11th cousins to Obama, America's first black president. Folks, a couple more minutes and we'll call it a night. Let's see where this goes.
Very close to one another. It's kind of creepy. It's kind of creepy how they're all related to each other.
Yeah, it is interesting. That's the first I'm hearing of that.
The only one that wasn't related was Madison, I think, is the one that, out of the 44, he was the only one that wasn't any relation.
Yeah, and it was a 15-year-old girl that put it all together. Her video's on YouTube. But yeah, it was like a 15-year-old girl figured this shit all out and put it all on a big pie chart and everything, man. It's fucking wild. She wanted to show the pie chart to Obama personally. I don't know if she ever got to, though. And I've never heard anything about this girl ever since, so they might have made her disappear.
If she stumbled onto something, she might. You have a link to that video by any chance?
No, but you ought to be able to Google it. Just put 15-year-old girl discovers presidents are all related. It should pop right up. I'm going to teach you all how to use Google, goddammit. I'm tired of being the only motherfucker on the planet that uses Google.
You know, I keep forgetting that a Google search is just that simple. You know, I keep thinking I need to be more specific. And, you know, you don't. I keep forgetting that. You know, you can just say, you know, this is what I want, you know, and it'll get you there.
It does me every time, you know, like if I want to know what the Pythagorean theorem is, I put, what is the Pythagorean theorem in a Google search with a question mark. And you know what? Boom, the Pythagorean theorem pops right up. If I want to know the theory of relativity, I put, what is the theory of relativity? Question mark. And boom, the theory of relativity pops right up. You know, I don't have to do a lot of searching to get what I need. As long as I'm specific about what I want, it usually pops right up. Now, there are those rare occasions where it'll say, no matches could be found for your query. But, you know, that was the last time that happened to me was back in the 90s. So, you know.
Talking to a buddy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He was over there in China just recently, and he says that they think that if we default, that because they own our debt, they get America. And I said, well, that's probably the deal our government made, that if they default, that's what happens. They didn't go through we the people. We the people will kick their slanty-eyed asses back to their own freaking country.
The United States government does not have the authority or right to give any of our land to anyone. All these Arab sheikhs that's got all this land out west, and the Japanese that have half of Hawaii, that's not legal. Not one bit of it's legal. Not one bit. You cannot, according to the Founding Fathers, American soil is sovereign. You cannot sell it to a non-American. You can't do it. So all these Saudi sheikhs and we're in UN biospheres and all this stuff, every bit of that's unconstitutional. Totally not respected or admonished by the Founding Fathers at all. Okay? I don't care who did it. I don't care what kind of agreement was made. I don't care how much money passed hands. You cannot give sovereign American soil to a non-American. There's only two people that can get American soil. That is an American citizen and a Native American. And if you ain't one of those two things, you have no right to our soil whatsoever. Period. In fact, the Founding Fathers made it abundantly clear that no foreign power of any kind is supposed to be on our soil. Well, what is the UN? The UN's a foreign power. It has a military, the Blue Helmets. It has a legislative body, the UN. You know, so is it a foreign power? Yes. Yes. The UN isn't even supposed to be on our soil, not according to the Founding Fathers.
Well, you know, I kind of have a thing with it. Not everything the founding fathers thought was a good idea, or put down was a good idea. It may have been then, but, times change. You gotta accept change, after 200 years.
Accept change to our Constitution. I have no problem with that. I can even, to a point, accept change to our Bill of Rights. As long as they leave the First Amendment, Second Amendment, I don't have a care, one, what they do with it.
This idea that the Constitution is a living document, I'm not going that far. Now, did the founding fathers allow for amendments to the Constitution? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. But that does not mean that it is a living document, and it does not mean that you go around changing it every time you change your fucking underwear. In fact, the founding fathers made it extremely difficult to amend the Constitution. Made it extremely difficult. Why? Because they didn't want the fucker changed. That's why. Simple as that. If they wanted the shit changed, they would have wrote right on there, now, you guys need to change this every year or every 5 years or every 25 years or whatever. Well, they never did that, though, did they? They never said that, did they? No. They made it difficult, extremely difficult, to modify the Constitution in any way. And they did that for a reason. Because, see, if you modify the Constitution in any way, you could just easily modify it to take away your rights, couldn't you? Yeah. And they didn't want that. Okay? So they made it extremely difficult to modify the Constitution.
Well, according to the first Constitution, the original reading of it, you wouldn't even have the power to vote, Vaughn. They suggested that only white slave-owning landholders, the upper class, would be the only ones allowed to vote. Even the common white man like yourself wouldn't be allowed to vote.
Well, I certainly wouldn't be allowed to vote because I'm not white.
Oh, here we go.
I'm Native American.
Here we go.
So I certainly wouldn't be allowed to vote. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Because, they had their ideas, they had their opinions, and their idea was contrary to the New World Order at the time. And so it doesn't bother me a bit. It doesn't bother me a bit whether I could get to vote or not. In fact, I would have preferred they being the only ones voting, because then there would have never been no New World Order. There would have never been no banks. There would have never been all this bullshit that's going on. And the liberals sure as hell wouldn't have been here. General Washington, there's liberals at the gates. Washington turns around to him and says, hang them all. What's going to happen on 12/21? Oh my God, I knew that question was coming. What's going to happen in December 21st? You know what? Honestly, there probably won't be a goddamn thing happen. Probably won't be a damn thing happen on December 21st, 2012. But come January the 1st, wham, we get nailed. That'll probably be what's going on. That'll be everybody, all the trolls and haters all over the world will be cheering. Nothing, absolutely nothing happened on December 21st, 2012. And then 1st of January, wham, we got nailed.
This is interesting because VONHELTON currently denies that he ever believed in the 2012 destruction prophecies.
Hi, sweetheart. I haven't seen you in forever. How you doing, Evil Princess?
Vaughn, you actually, before we got to know each other too well, we knew each other a little bit on here, but you actually banned one of my YouTube accounts in reference to the 12/21 thing. You were talking about the solar storm in March of 13 or May of 13, something like that, and I was just pulling your chain a little bit. I asked, why should we care about solar storm in 2013. We're going to be dead in 2012. And I don't. Maybe you were having a bad day or something. I took it the whole. But you actually banned that account. I have another one now, though. But I just kind of thought that was funny, and then never mentioned it to you.
Yeah, well, you know, I have a low tolerance for assholes. I'm sorry, you know. That's just the way it goes. Isn't Dr. Dissent one of my trolls? Yes. Yes, Dr. Dissent is one of my trolls. But don't kick him. Don't kick him just yet. Leave him be. For now. Yeah. Anyway. You know, but as far as 2013 goes, the solar storm is real. You know, and if people don't get prepared for it, you know what? Oh, well. I guess they'll die, you know. But the solar storm is not fake. The solar storm happens every 11 years, like it or not. Now, granted, most of the time, solar storms are harmless. You just get a bunch of pretty blue lights up in the sky, and that's it. But we are going through what is called a solar maximum. Okay, this is NASA saying this shit, not VONHELTON. Get it right, trolls. VONHELTON ain't saying this shit. NASA is. We are going through a solar maximum. Well, what is a solar maximum? Solar maximum is when all the sunspots gather on one part of the sun, and they release this huge megastorm that just, this huge thing, this huge ball of gas. And NASA says it'll be a minimum of 4 times the size of Earth. Okay, so we're not getting away from it. All right, so the solar storm is real. The solar maximum is real. We are in real danger, real legitimate danger. Not necessarily from loss of life, but from the fact that all of our electronics will not operate. Planes will not fly. Cars will not run. Flashlights will not operate. Anything that has wires or anything that has electronics will not operate. Okay, that's a fact, Jack. Now, we haven't had one of these in a long time. The last one we had was 1859. But most of the experts agree that there's about an 80 to 85% chance that this thing is going to go down really, really nasty for us. So if you're one of those individuals that says, I'm not going to prepare, I'm not going to get ready for the solar storm, good on you. You know, do whatever turns you on, but I'm preparing for this shit. I'm going to be around, and if anybody comes and tries to steal my food, it'll be the last thing you steal. All right?
Really start worrying when they recalled all of our astronauts from the International Space Station. Then I'm going to know something's up.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. You know, what's going to happen with all that?
They've done an emergency shutdown and securing of the International Space Station, and they're bringing the astronauts home. That's when I'm going to say, oh, shit, here it comes.
You know, there is a slim possibility that they may not say anything about them people leaving. You know, or they may not decide to get them out of there at all. Because, I mean, think about it. Like you said, the first thing you're going to listen for is to see if all them people are taking off that International Space Station. Well, what if they don't remove the people from the Internet Space Station? Just for that reason. Because they know everybody's going to be hanging on a thread wondering what the hell's going to happen. If they go around blabbing, yeah, we're going to get all the people off the Internet Space Station, there you go.
Roger, here's the thing. And not only will the cell phones be down, no Facebook, no YouTube, no computers, no satellites, so there's no cable television no more, no satellite TV. We're back to the 1800s.
Quite literally. We're quite literally back to the 1800s. That's correct. Back to the days of the horse and buggy. So what are you doing, Pam?
Not a little too much.
Not too much. How's the little one?
She is actually awesome. 6 months old now, and yes. There's my point. Come on.
Keeping you awake all hours of the day and night? That's fun. He sleeps through the night? I ain't never heard of a 6-month-old.
Yeah, he's been sleeping through the night since he was about 4 months old. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Usually they don't start sleeping through the night until at least 1. Wow, that's crazy. Well, none of mine did. Let me rephrase that. None of mine did. You know, yours might, but none of mine did. So.
Oh, that's because yours were starving, Vaughn. That's why.
As
Yeah.
parents, you can't sit around and you can't put one child and put them towards another child and say, you know what, this is similar, because everything is so fucking different. It's ridiculous.
Right.
So
So the naysayers and trolls that said your child was gonna come out deformed or come out damaged in some way. Yeah, they ended up being wrong, didn't they? Yeah, isn't that amazing? What a shock that a bunch of trolls and haters would end up being wrong about something.
yeah, well, hey, they only have their points on certain things, and they couldn't pinpoint anything, because the only thing they could do was turn around and say about shit when I was on your show and doing this and that. But I wasn't doing anything apart from being myself. They're going, oh yeah, okay, she could be a fucking crackhead. She could be a fucking alcoholic. She could be a drug addict. She could be this, that, and every other fucking thing. And guess what?
Well, you ain't none of them things.
I've never been any of those things, never will be, and the only problem with that is if they can turn around and pinpoint it out, then...
So this is Evil Princess, a.k.a. Pam. She was a young lady from New Zealand that VONHELTON fancied. There is a video of her breaking his heart when she has to tell him that she's not sexually interested in him. That's another story. But as you can clearly hear, she's been drinking. And at the time, she was pregnant. And she drank often on live stream and smoked. And people had commented that, you know, being pregnant, you probably don't want to be drinking every day. But she is pleading her case that she's not an alcoholic or drug addict, as she is clearly intoxicated. Also talking about her baby.
If they're not addicted to something, then it would have been their parents or anything else. That's why they turn around and try and shoot me down. Well, because I turn around and try and have fun. Sit here on the internet, being pregnant, okay? Yeah, okay, being pregnant is freaking awesome. So I'd be pregnant one day.
Well, the wife is chomping at the bit wanting to be pregnant again, but she can't. She has to wait until she's healed. And it's driving her crazy, because she's definitely wanting to be pregnant again. Everybody in blog is saying that I'm the father, Pam. Am I the father of the child?
This baby, no. Unfortunately, not, no. You are not. And the father of this child is coming around here within about half an hour. He'll be here, so it's okay.
All right. Yeah, unfortunately, I am not the father, because if I was the father, he'd have all kinds of toys right about now. I give him all kinds of toys. That's the first thing I did with my kids. When I was growing up as a child, I think I had like 3 toys, all right? So when I had these kids here, the first thing I did was I went and gathered up a whole bunch of toys for them. Do I want more kids? Well, of course I do, fool. Kids is our future. Without kids, we cease to exist. Hello, you know. Hello, biology class, anybody? You know, I mean, of course I want children, obviously. Duh. Well, now I gotta hand it to you, Nibiru. That is a correct situation. I can get a child a toy, and they will play with the goddamn cardboard box more than they will with the toy. I don't. That is so frustrating.
And the fucking paper, right?
Yeah, that is so frustrating. But that's just, you know, but that's a child. You know, that's normal for a child. You know, that's just the way they are, and you know, that's the way it goes, man. You know. Oh, have you heard the latest, Pam? The latest is the trolls are going on about the fact that I talked to this guy about his camera, and it was a video of his daughter swimming, and he was getting these real good, clear shots underwater. And so I asked him, I said, hey, what kind of camera you got? Now, see, that the trolls and haters on YouTube are dumbasses. They never thought to think that I'm a father with children. This person was a father with children. All the people I talk to on Facebook are parents with children. But these dumbasses don't get a clue that maybe we all get along just fine and that we talk to one another. Okay? The first thing that enters their mind is pedophilia. So now what does that say about them? I think that says a lot about them.
Asking about a camera have to do with any of that?
Going to happen. People are turning around and saying, oh, but I hear you're going to move over there with him and everything else and blah, blah, blah.
Well, so
blah,
what?
blah.
So what? That's not see, that's the thing. That's the thing that gets me. It ain't none of their fucking business if you want to move over here with us. See, that's the part that pisses me off. It ain't none of their fucking business. If I want to have fucking 100 wives, that's none of their fucking business. If I want to stand on the top of the Empire State Building wearing nothing but my underwear, that's none of their fucking business. Okay? That's what I don't get. Why is my personal life so fucking important to them? And I have the answer. The answer is because they don't have a fucking life. Because if they had a life, they'd be out living it, not making hate videos on YouTube, right?
Yeah, well, hey, that's what they're doing. That's the only thing that they can do.
Yeah, well, their idea of trying to get the government to kill me failed. Then their idea...
I've already told you that I'm not moving over there.
I know you told me you wasn't moving over there, but that don't mean that's going to... I mean, what happens when the water levels start rising, sweetheart? You are on an island, you know.
No, when it comes down to it, I'm probably at the highest point where it's going to start rising.
Well, that may be the case, but you're still on an island, and if the water levels rise, you're going to need to get the hell out of there, and you're going to have to go somewhere, you know. So now where you go, well, I don't know. You know, if you want to come here, that's great.
When it comes down to it,
I don't know, man. Because, you know, I'm looking at like I said, I had actual experts come to me privately and tell me that I was wrong. Because I was telling everybody it's 800 feet above sea level that we need to be at. And I had experts contact me privately and say, Vaughn, you're wrong.
So, Vaughn, what's going to happen on the 21st? Are we going to be screwed or what? What's going to happen on the 21st? Are we going to be screwed or what?
No, ain't nothing happening. I done told you, nothing's going to happen on the 21st.
nothing, that's all a fucking load of shit. Because the Mayan calendars and everything else are completely wrong. Okay, just days, back then, in those days, just days, take in count on the...
So that's Dr.
The leap
Descent,
years.
if you're not sure.
Right, you gotta count on the leap years and stuff like
Just
that.
came in.
Thank you, yes, the leap years. No, they did not.
Right. Their system of calendar.
So is the 21st date just a wrong date, Vaughn, or is it like miscalculated, or is it just disinformation?
Oh, there's going to be something happening because we've got Claire Shipton, Edgar Casey, Merlin, we got I Ching in China. We got all these people telling you, warning you, Nostradamus. They're all warning you that that calamity is coming to this planet. But it's not the end of the world. It's not even the end of humanity. But it is going to be a rough patch. There is going to be a lot of problems. But
no, that's the thing that I don't get. There already has been with earthquakes and all
right.
the shit that's been going on.
Right.
The only thing is the problem that where is those people that believe in something else? Like something else. Everybody believes that something else is going to happen, and it's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. Whereas those other people who goes, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it may do. People like me. People like me, I go, yeah, okay, I've seen all the warning signs, I see everything that's out there, and everything else, but whereas those people, they go, you know, as when it comes down to it, it's
So what do you recommend I do, Vaughn? I mean, if the 21st isn't going to have a problem, I mean, what's your recommendation?
It is a universal power that will turn around and put it out there. But nobody knows about the universal power. Nobody turns around and thinks that there's a universal power out there because they think that every single thing, like the fucking government and everything else, is overrunning them. They don't think, turn around and say, look, you know, if I wish my hopes and my dreams, okay, if they believe in God and whatnot, that's up to them. But when it comes down to it, there's a universal power out there. And at the moment, nobody's putting anything into it. You want your hopes, your dreams, and everything else, you got to put it into the universal power and make sure that happens, which means that the end of the world, that's not going to happen. Why? Because everybody else out there needs to turn around and change their mind thought into the fact that, you know what, we can do it. We can make this world survive as it is.
Well, the people that are floating the idea that the world is ending are government shills. They're either government shills or the New World Order shills, one or the other, because nobody has ever said the world is coming to an end. Nobody. No truther that I know of has ever said the world is coming to an end. So if some troll or some hater gets up there and says, oh, the world's going to an end, well, they're either a government shill or they're a New World Order shill, or they wouldn't be saying that shit.
On the fucking Mayan calendar.
No, the Mayan calendar doesn't end either. It's a fucking circle, okay? It's a fucking circle. Once you get to the end, you start over again.
That's what I'm saying. When it comes down to it, that's what everybody's putting it down to. And, because back in those days, they never took in the extra days.
Right. The leap years and stuff, right.
Yep. They never put in.
So what's going to happen then? I mean, I'm totally confused. What's going to, I mean, I agree the world's not going to end, but...
So you're not a New World Order shill? Well, that's good. That's nice to know.
Oh, people are going to be shit in the chat right now.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, she's not trying. She sounds like this over. Yeah, well, kiss my fucking ass.
Pam always sounds like this, guys. That's why I love her. She's always sounding like this. I like it. I like Pam just the way she is. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but Vaughn, you're not answering my question. I'm concerned. I live on the West Coast. I'm afraid. I agree with you. The world's not going to end. But is there going to be some sort of catastrophe, or is it just nothing? What do you think?
Google the Ring of Fire, dude. If you live on the West Coast, Google the Ring of Fire. That's all you really need to Google. Just Google the Ring of Fire, man. You Google that shit, you'll know exactly what's up. Yeah, that's Dr.
No, I just Googled it and I got Johnny Cash. What the hell does that mean?
Wrong ring of, that's a song. Google, okay. Google South Pacific Ring of Fire. There you go. Google South Pacific Ring of Fire. That'll
well, come on. I mean, I don't want to Google it, Vaughn. I've got you. You're an expert. You've done all the homework, the research, so I'm just asking.
Stop! I have never claimed to be an expert, and you damn well know it. So quit that shit. I've never claimed to be an expert.
Okay, well, you're not an expert, but you've done more research.
Well, I've done a lot of
when it comes down to it, some of us have to.
I've done a lot of research because my neck is on the line. So, yeah, I've done a lot of research. But now...
I'll be back. I'm going for a stitch, okay?
All right, dear.
I'll be back.
All right. But yeah, as far as the Ring of Fire is a chain of volcanoes in the Pacific Ocean. All right. And when they go off, it'd be like dominoes, man. Boom, 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 boom. And when they go off like that, it could literally take a chunk of the earth with it when it goes, because they form a ring. Okay. And it would devastate a good portion of the Earth's surface, not to mention the atmosphere. One
So
volcano.
you think, like, I'm looking at the Ring of Fire. Sorry to interrupt. I got a little lag there, Vaughn. I just checked out the Ring of Fire, and it's just the Pacific Tectonic Plate or whatever. So you're saying, is it possible that if like a whole series of volcanoes went off all in a short order, like a huge chunk of the Earth could be blown out into space?
It's possible. Is it probable? I don't know. But is it possible? Yeah. You're talking about, okay, one volcano under pressure is several megatons. All right, at least, if not more than that. All right, well, you got what, 15, 20 volcanoes there with the possibility that all of them go off? Yeah. You know, and then, and like you said, like Coolbuck is saying here on Blog TV, you got super volcanoes like Yellowstone that could also go off. Okay, so yeah, it could be a real shitty day for somebody, you know. Now, does that mean that's the end of the world? No. Does it mean it's the end of humanity? No. But does it mean we're going to have a rough fucking day? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
It'd be a bad day for me, especially because I'm inside the Ring of Fire. I'll be out there on the second moon.
All right, folks. So we're just past 11 o'clock. We're just over almost 2.5 hours. I think that's good for this part 2 of the Blog TV tapes. As you can see, folks, we have much more of just this audio clip to go. And I'm sure with Dr. Descent joining the conversation, things will get a little more interesting. So we'll pick it up from there next time. So we'll, I guess we'll see a Weirdo Wonderland tomorrow night. And we'll get caught up with all things lulzy going on the internet. Please thumbs it up, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I guess we'll see you then. Thanks for stopping by and watching. Peace.